Okay. You know, with Brian essentially being out, you have like a 4 pass rusher rotation of guys that haven't had a sack this season, but they also haven't had a lot of tape. Is there an advantage to having younger guys and just kind of throwing them out there?
Yeah, we've been working with these guys for quite some time now. Obviously, Luigi is just newer to us, but we think a lot of all these guys they've been working their butts off. They've been preparing for this moment, and we expect them to perform well when they get in there.
How'd Martinez look out there in his first practice, and any chance he could be on the field Thursday?
Well, he's really smart, so he's already got the calls all down and all that. We'll see about Thursday. Not quite sure about that, but it's kind of hard to tell in a walkthrough physically. But in terms of the mental part, pretty sharp.
What role did you play in getting him here, and what did you share with the front office about him?
Well, I thought it was Scott and his staff. They did a great job doing the research, digging into him, what he's done the last couple of years. Obviously, myself, Coach Hansen, Coach Dom have experience with him, so that helps. But yeah, it's been a collaborative effort.
What did he share with you about kind of the Pokemon thing and kind of how that blew up?
Oh, we didn't talk about that. Yeah.
We saw Cook and DiCaprio both get bigger roles. What did you see from them last week, and how can they progress through the rest of the season?
Yeah, they both did an excellent job. These two guys are probably two of our best practice players, which really stands out because we have a lot of very good practice players. But when you talk about their intentionality, their effort, they're locked in, they're focused in the meetings. So it's no surprise that they went out there and they had a good performance. And so been really happy with the way that these guys have been preparing over the last couple of weeks. And now that they got their op, it was great to see them perform. And that's what we expected.
We hear stories about coordinators on offense or defense seeing guys on special teams maybe making a block or hustling or whatever. DiCaprio's obviously stood out on special teams.
Yeah.
Outside of the way he practices, what did you see that said, hey, we can use this guy in the secondary?
Yeah, his play style on special teams is very obvious. He can run, he's physical, he's willing to tackle. But what you see day in and day out is not in anything that he does, he's a professional. He's detailed, he asks questions, he's very, very smart, he's intelligent. And so, to me, a person like that, a player like that, regardless of what he does, he's going to make it work because he's determined to get it done.
I know the injuries are part of the game, but have you ever been through a season where you've experienced this much turnover, especially to key guys on your defensive unit?
Yeah, I felt like we went through this last year too in Denver. So, but yeah, it's we're not going to make any excuses. We have more than what we need to play well. We've got a lot of good young players. We've got a really good depth. The coaches have done a great job of not just coaching the starters, but really pouring into the entire depth of the roster, and I think that's starting to show. And so that's what we got to do. You can't control those things, and nobody's going to care. So we just got to make it work.
So that experience in Denver has kind of helped you with the changes that have happened this year.
No question. And I think just my experience in the league is just that's just the nature of it. Is that at any moment anybody has to play, and so if you're not developing the bottom part of your roster and getting them ready to play. And if those guys aren't intentional about, hey, I can't just come in here with the mindset that I'm a practice player, that I actually might get into the game, you're doing yourself a disservice and your team as well. So,
Will Dante get the bulk of the reps against DJ Moore?
we don't want to disclose that, how we're going to match up, but he will be a big part of the game plan.
What would you say the unique challenges are about DJ?
He's an elite receiver. He's fast. He's got size. He can win 50-50 balls. He's a good route runner. He's a top-end player, and so we'll have our hands full.
What strikes you most about Marquise Haynes?
He is as tough a person as I've ever met, mentally and physically. I just love everything about him, how he prepares, how he works. He's a high character guy, and he's been dealing with a lot of frustrations with the injuries, and he hasn't let it affect his work ethic in terms of what he's doing in the training room, on the field, and even coming to meetings and making sure he's staying up to date with the package. So he's done a great job.
Through all that, he's shown his toughness, like kind of what you just said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any examples that come to mind? Any moments?
Yeah, not that I want to talk about in public, but there's been times where it's it would be really hard on a lot of players, some of the stuff that he's had to go through. And he just keeps pushing forward. He walks in, first person in the building, doing his work, not complaining, not making excuses. So he's done a great job.
What is your biggest concern with the Bears? Sounds like Herbert might be back. They got a pretty good tight end. We don't know about Fields yet, I guess. But what is your thoughts?
Yeah, well, you mentioned Fields. Both quarterbacks, can hurt you with their legs and their arm. So they have the quarterback run game aspect of it. They've got really good players on the edge. We talked about Moore, Herbert, if he's back. So they got really good skill. I worked with Coach Getsy in Green Bay. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a very good offensive coach. I think they do a really good job with their design, and so it'll be a good challenge for us.
Foreman is a guy who had a lot of success here. Tough to bring down. I mean, how do you stop him if he's the main back?
Yeah, we played against them last year when we played Carolina, and we saw that story. It's tough, physical, downhill. You can't make that a one-on-one tackling deal. We got to get a lot of population to the party. But I got a lot of respect for that player.
How do you handle the quarterback preparation and game planning, especially during a short week when there's a question mark with those guys?
Yeah, the good thing is they don't do too much different. Obviously Fields is their starter, but like what they're doing is the same. So, and the backup can really hurt you with his legs as well. So, our preparation is really not going to be affected by the quarterback. We just got to be ready to play either guy.
We've seen you guys bounce back as a run defense pretty significantly. What are you seeing from your guys that maybe you didn't see those first 6 games?
Well, the effort has been there the whole year, the physicality, and it's just the nature of playing football in the NFL. You get better as you work through the year, and that's just what's happening. I think our guys are understanding the scheme better. They're understanding their techniques and fundamentals better. I think we're getting to know our guys better. We're probably making better adjustments that are more suited to their play style, and so I think it's been just the nature of the NFL, getting better as you work through the year.
Good. All right, thanks.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.